on Facebook. Okay. Say Tucker's wife tweeted something, a picture of somebody or something. Anyway, welcome to Kevin's Corner, KC 2.0 on my other channel because of the shenanigans that's going on. So, yeah, I'm waiting for a couple people to log in. Y'all already know what time it is. I think I did my best to try to inform some people that some shenanigans was going on with YouTube and my other channel. And as you can probably guess, I am once again suspended. Somebody said, good morning from the Philippines. My man, thank you so much for following me all the way over here on this channel. Just to give you break it down to you in a nutshell, I think there's a purge going on. I mean, you got to figure if they went after and got Tucker, everybody else is kind of free game. I hate to say it. But nonetheless, they got me again for medical mis and disinformation. So what they're doing is they are just having their algorithms go back through all the videos and try to find whatever, just to, hit us with another strike. So that's my second. And so I talked to my agent and I got to do something I really don't want to do, y'all. I really don't want to do it. So I need y'all help. So I'm going to have to, on my Kevin's Corner channel, is get rid of all my archive videos, the years and years of me dropping videos out there. So if you haven't seen any of them, you might want to go check them out, watch them, download them, or you'll be able to go see them on my Rumble channel because after a certain particular time, they started automatically being uploaded to my Rumble channel. So if you're not subscribed and following me on Rumble, unfortunately, after tonight, you probably won't be able to see a lot of those, the archive videos. Now, I'm going to try to keep as many as I can up so it doesn't, ones that I think could outwit their algorithms. But there's some key things that they are looking at. Anything dealing with COVID. There's certain words I can't say. So I'm on ice until July. That means I got to tiptoe around this garbage until July. Now, on the other end, I want you all to know that this channel, I'm going to keep it up as long as I can, but I'm going to have to make another switch. I've been talking to some people, and this is what has to happen. The reason this channel is not being pushed out is because I'm using the same Wi-Fi, and they're figuring it out. Like, okay, they're coming from the same IP address, so I got to go through a whole bunch of crap. I got to go ahead I got to get a VPN, rename this channel, open up a whole new one, all of that garbage, and then I can't even put the link to the new one in Kevin's Corner because then they'll go, that's Kevin's Corner. So now I got to jump through hoops, and I'm going to need you all to help me out somehow. If you're not following me on Facebook, on Rumble, on all of those, please do so that when I post the new link, you'll get it, and I won't have to tiptoe around who. Okay, so I got to go through this after tonight. I got to go through all this. I've been already working all day getting rid of some of the old stuff, unfortunately. And it burns me up because I'm looking at some of these and I'm just downloading them and I'm putting, them in, a folder of my own, trying to keep them there. So, yeah, I did get the Facebook fix. People right now over there on Facebook, checking out the show. That goes back and forth. You never know. You never know. So anyway, lots of shenanigans. YouTube, I guess, got a new president, and it was that lady who didn't like, she was pretty liberal and didn't like conservatives. Now it's another lady who don't like conservatives. You think they was going to hire a conservative? No. So yeah, they're doing a purge, and I don't like it. This right here burns me up, man. I'm telling you right now, I don't know. I would love to see them brought up to Congress, and I would love to be able to go in and testify. I have all my documentation. I'd be like, they hate me because I'm black and I'm conservative. I think they said something about slavery and all of that. Man, I go up there and try to let them have it without even having to use no tactics like identity politics. I'll just keep it real. These dudes are playing us. But anyway, it is what it is. So we'll go ahead and deal with what we have to do. deal with. Now, I'm suspended on Kevin's corner for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, y'all. 2 weeks. And one more, I'm done. So please spread the word to anybody you know that watches me and let them know where they can find me at for now over here until, I do something else. So anyway, thank y'all so much. But while we're here, we might as well go ahead and have some fun because, I'm going to give Tucker a farewell. There's a reason why they don't like Tucker to the Carlson. And we're going to try to explore some of those reasons. So farewell, Tucker. But there's some other things we need to talk about, too. And since we over here on KC 2.0. Hey, pretty baby with the high heels on. You give me fever like I never ever known. You just the product of loveliness. I'm just kidding, y'all. I do like that funky guitar right there. Get down. Yeah. What? Welcome to my party. We're just getting started. That's right, y'all. We just getting started up in this funky joint. So, before we get into what's going on with Tucker to the Carlson, Creepy Sleepy and the crew announced they're running again. Can y'all believe that? I mean, what's their problem? Don't they have any self-reflection? Aren't they able to look at themselves and say, good grief, we stink. Do you think we got a chance? What? Oh, never mind. Don't even bother talking to Joe. All right, guys, do you think we have a chance? So apparently they're running again. So let's see their lineup, okay? Who they're going to stick out. On the field. Starting off with Chameleon Kamala Harris. She had a little something to say the other day. Let's check it out. Yeah. Boom.
So I think it's very important, as you have heard from so many incredible leaders, for us at every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist in our present.
Here we go. Here we go with that word salad. Somebody go get me some dressing. I need something for this word salad. So this is what we're going to have to deal with. I cannot. Now, first of all, I question whether she's even going to make the lineup. Okay. But if she does, this is what we're going to have to deal with. So now she comes out and says something about the period of time. Once again, she's about to drop a poem. She's about to drop a haiku on us. Here we go. Let's see if we can figure it out.
We exist in our
some time about existing.
Incredible leaders.
Okay, here we go.
For us at every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist in our present.
I feel like I'm watching that last scene in The Matrix where the actual Matrix was talking, and he was so deep, so mystical, that Neil was looking like, I don't know what this dude's talking about. Even the audience was watching that going, what the heck is this dude talking about? I don't know what that is. So now she's back on the significance of time and the passage of time and the present. And if you look at the present, then you could probably figure out the past, and you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you came from. Why can't the Democrats ever put out just normal, regular candidates? Why they all got to be like this?
And to be able to contextualize it, to understand where we exist in the history and in the moment as it relates not only to the past, but the future.
What? Now, that's one of them things you walk away more confused. You're like, wait a minute, I heard something about some time, the present, the future, where we at now. And then, what? Oh, man, okay, wait, let me go back over it. So, what she just did is said a lot of nothing. Whole bunch of words that actually meant nothing. That's what she did. And that's how the Democrats roll. Let's get up there, drop a whole bunch of words out there, and never really say anything. At the end of the day, if somebody asks you, what did she talk about? She talked about, oh man, okay, wait, hold on. I know, I got it. Okay, it was something about remember the time when we fell in love? Let's see. And all this love will be revealed in time. Okay, wait, there's something about the time. The bird. Oh, wait, no, man, I don't know. And neither does she. That just sounds like a whole bunch of goobly gah trying to wow them. And look who's in the audience. Whole bunch of black folks. That's the slop that she throws out there to her own people that she claims her own people, even though I heard she's like whatever, all these other different whatevers. But nonetheless, that's a slop she dropped out there. Now, the question is, are they in the back nodding along going, yeah, that's deep, and have no idea what she's talking about? It burns me up. So that's who they're going to stick out there? Maybe. We don't even know if she's going to even make the squad. So let's check out what Joe got to say.
We exist and are present, but contextualize it in the history as it relates not only to the past, but the future.
Yes. Uh-oh. Chuck Todd takes a beating from the left for reporting 70% of Americans don't want Biden to run again. NBC host needs a muzzle. So, Chuck Fraud probably made a mistake and accidentally mentioned something about 70% of the people don't want Biden to run again. And you know the left, we're going to be finding out why they do this, why they don't hold their own accountable in a few minutes. But let's go ahead and see why they don't want Creepy Sleepy to run again.
The Wall Street Journal editorial board had a very strong statement about it, saying the public understands what Mr. Biden apparently won't admit, that electing an octogenarian in obvious decline for another 4 years could be an historic mistake. It's impossible to know Mr. Biden's real physical and mental state because the White House goes to great lengths to hide it.
Do they ever? I'm talking about full-blown backflips to hide this man's condition. They write out all of his speeches. They pick the people who he talks to. They send Easter bunnies out there to guide him where he needs to go. They attach Jill, who's Joe's husband, at his hip to make sure he doesn't wander off. They got other leaders in other countries making sure he walks on the red carpet. This is a concerted effort to try to make this man look somewhat competent. And they still are struggling to do it. And if the media did their job, this man would have been done. He would have never got elected. So I think she has a point. People are saying, if this guy's this blew out right now, another 4 years, I'm wondering if he's going to make it another 4 days. So here is someone that is supposed to be coming out trying to clean that up and run interference and tell us why Creepy Sleepy should get another 4 years. Let's listen to her case.
There is going to be this question, right? And rightfully so.
Yeah.
But I think when you look at what the administration has in fact accomplished,
now you shouldn't have brought that up. You shouldn't have mentioned that. Immediately, my mind starts going through all of the chaos that took place these last 3 years or so. I don't want to think about that. That's the last thing that she should have did. When you think about all the things that this administration has accomplished, and I'm going, well, that's a good question. It goes back to how Kamala Chameleon got out there and was like, you know what? I'm going to say a bunch of words. And at the end of the day, you're going to say, that sounded good, but I have no idea what she said. Same thing with this. All their accomplishments. And I'm going, oh, yeah. Oh, okay, wait. All right. Yeah, it was the one time when they, oh, man. Hold on. They did, wait, okay. Remember you know what? I have no idea what they have done. Actually, I do. Their voters don't, but I do. All of you do too, as well. So let's go ahead and reminisce for a second. I reminisce for a style.
The last 4 years is pretty impressive. It's a pretty impressive record. What the administration has in fact accomplished in the last 4 years.
Well, let's peek up under that hood, y'all. It's pretty impressive. Pop the hood. Let's see this big old V8.
It's pretty impressive. It's a pretty impressive record.
Let me refresh your memory. Food is up more than 10% from last year. Housing up 5.5%. You're paying 37% more for airfare. And gasoline up a whopping 48.7%.
New numbers tonight showing inflation now at the highest level since 1982.
The U.S. Embassy in Sudan has been evacuated as thousands of Americans are still in the African nation as brutal fighting enters the second week.
Dow, NASDAQ, S&P all ending the year lower than where they started it, making it the worst year for the markets since 2008.
For the first time ever, a gallon of regular now costs $5 on average nationwide.
The housing market has entered a recession.
The Taliban are now in complete control of Afghanistan. The sudden capture of the country's capital has shocked the world and caused bedlam this morning at the Kabul airport, where thousands of Afghans are struggling to get on the next plane out.
Now, how are you going to run with that resume? That's what I want to know. There's only so much cleaning up the media can do for you. Now, you got to figure, if he runs for another 4 years, not only does he have to defend that garbage record, but he also have to be able to go out there and debate and campaign, which we know he can't do. We know Creepy Sleepy only was able to dodge that big bullet because a mysterious something that just fell out of the sky allowed him to stay in his basement for the whole campaign period. So now, unless they pull some more shenanigans like that, this guy has to try to go out and campaign, and he has to account for all of the corruption that has been coming out about this guy, and he has to justify all of those clips we just heard. Okay, now, you got to be real dumb, deaf, and blind not to see that we are way off worse than what we was when Trump was in office. So now let's go ahead and check out what Trump has to say about Biden running. Here we go.
The worst ever. Amid persistent inflation, higher interest rates, and recession worries, Americans in this survey have never been more negative about the economy. The CNBC All-America Economic Survey
But he's their
finds a
champion?
record 69% of the public has negative views about the economy, both now and in the future. That's the highest percentage in the 17 years we've been doing it.
Wow. Now, my question is, 69, then that's 31%. What are those 31% people, what are they looking at? Now, somebody mentioned Bishop Wooden, and he talked about a visit from the IRS during, who is that? Susan, let me see here. Who put that up? Susan, if you know where I can find that clip, put it in the link. I want to check that one out right there, okay? I want to check that one out. Because you know what they're doing, y'all. They're trying to put the smackdown on all of us, and we're going to be talking about that a bit tonight. All right, here we go. Let's get into what's going on today.
I got a bad feeling
I
about
do too.
this.
I got a bad feeling about it. He wouldn't did it. I didn't think he would do it. So Biden announced his re-election bid, saying battle for the nation so isn't complete. That's right. See, he's trying to send our soul straight to hell. So he's still trying to condemn us to Hades. It's not complete. He hasn't finished killing the body and the soul. So that's what he's doing. He's like, I haven't finished destroying everybody. My father of all lies still want me to finish wrecking the country. So, yeah, he's running again, y'all. Can you believe it?
That's why I'm running for re-election.
It was just revealed that the 51 intelligence officials who claimed Hunter Biden's laptop from hell was Russian disinformation.
What?
Were not only lying, they were coordinated by the Biden campaign itself.
Oh, now that should have just disqualified Creepy Sleepy right there. Because, see, guys, I just saw something, or listened to something. Actually, I saw it too, on the fake news when I was in there checking on my dad before I started my show. Yeah, I don't know what channel it was, one of those. And I was mesmerized at what they were talking about. They weren't talking about, you know, this whole incident, these whistleblowers that's been coming out saying they've been obstructing justice when it comes down to his son. Because we know if they go after his son the right way, it's going to point straight to Biden. They weren't talking about that. It might have been CBS. I'm not sure. They weren't talking about, you know, this CIA whistleblower saying that they falsified these 52 intel people and he went to them because the Biden administration requested it. They weren't talking about that. They were talking about some lady now. And this is why I cannot stand the media. Now, you know it's election time. You know it's coming, guys. Some lady is running around claiming that Donald Trump raped her again. Apparently, the statutes of limitation had dropped. She hit him with a civil suit. Now she wrote a book. This was back in 60 something. I don't know. But here she is again. Now, you knew it was coming. Every single time election time comes, some woman, unfortunately, and see this, they mess it up. They mess it up for all of the legitimate cases. When mysteriously these things just pop up right around election time, and you've been running around for 30, 40 years, everything's been cool. Now, what makes me very suspicious all the time, when people accuse Trump, or most of the time conservatives, of these acts, they're always accused by liberals, people who hate the candidate, versus people who accuse Democrats, like Keith Ellison up there in wherever he's at, the Minneapolis, his girlfriend was a Democrat. She accused him of smacking her around because she didn't take the trash out, and then went right to the hospital and gave documentation of her bruises. And the Democrats did an internal investigation. There was no news coverage of that. They weren't talking about this should be a bigger issue, this and that. Nothing. So here she is, no motive to tell that about Keith. Tara Ellis, here she is, talking about dang on Biden and what he did to her. No coverage. Now, they covered this lady today, coming out of some place. Now she want to go ahead and you know, I guess New York's changing the law and extending the statutes of limitations, probably just so she can file a rape charge against Trump or something like that. But now here it is, she's mustering it up again, right around election time. And every time I see this, I want to pop. But yet, what they weren't covering is Tara Reid. She can't get on one of their shows. She can't get a chance to go up to Congress and tell everybody what Creepy did. They went and did that softball interview with Joe just to get him to be able to say, I didn't do it, nothing. I don't even remember the lady. What is she? All of that. And then let this dude slide for 4 years without ever mentioning her, now without ever talking about Me Too, none of that. But now here they are going to give more attention to this lady who done surfaced again. So how many times do you keep going back to that well? Unreal to me. So Trump right here sees the corruption, but the corruption doesn't just lie with Joe. It's the deep state. It's Joe. It's these darn big tech companies like what they're doing to me. And of course, it's the fake news.
This was corruption at the highest level.
Highest level.
And it was a hoax perpetrated by Biden, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, and partisan intelligence officials to cover up the truth about the Biden crime family's grotesque influence peddling and corruption. Joe Biden stood in front of the world on the debate stage, you remember that, and lied about the biggest scandal in American history. There has
you and your friend Giuliani, the intelligence 52. After telling them, please come up with some fake story. This is unreal. But yet you don't see this on all those networks. No one sees this. And see, it kills me because you'll hear people will attack you who watch nothing but the fake news or no news at all about Trump. And they don't realize he's the victim. They don't realize the powerful are abusing their power. And they done already worked their mojo on these people who cannot even see that this man is not the problem. So this should be covered on every channel. They should be sticking the mic in Creepy's face, constantly asking him about this, but he can't answer those questions. The same media who covered for him by saying he had a stuttering problem that done resurfaced, the same media who attacked anybody who questioned his mental fitness, they can't now come and start asking him questions that he sure enough can't answer. He would have a hard time answering these questions in the best of conditions mentally. But now, this dude would get unraveled. So they're just ignoring it. And instead, they're going after Trump and talking about Alvin, Fat Albert's case and this new lady that done popped up again.
There's never been a scandal like this one. What Congressman James Comer and Jim Jordan have revealed about the Biden crime family would be Watergate times 10.
Yeah, it would be.
If this news was revealed just 10 years ago. Our fake news media is corrupt at a level like never seen before.
And how?
There has never been anything like it. If this kind of information came out in the past, writers would be getting Pulitzer Prizes when Pulitzer Prize meant something.
It means
doesn't
nothing
mean
now.
very much anymore. Yes, our media is totally corrupt.
Yes, they are, President Trump. They are completely corrupt. And unfortunately, they are the source of the power for the Democrat Party. They're the cover for them. They are the PR. I mean, it's amazing how much they get away with, all because they got their hands in these powerful entities and they've been sticking their knuckles in there for a long time. And it allows them to operate in plain daylight, just fully corrupt. And only the folks that have an eye to see and an ear to hear, catches this stuff, and yet they're able to somehow shield their people from hearing the truth. And that's why my channel won't grow. That's why I keep getting suspended. Because I talk about things like this, infected with stupid. See, I've just concluded that there's a lot of people right now walking around carrying that stupid gene. They got that stupidity virus all up in their mix, man. All up in their mix. If you don't believe me, let's go ahead and check this out real quick. Oh, I should have blurted out these words. I don't know. Maybe I hope the words ain't in this little clip right here, because you know what'll happen. So here we go.
Men get pregnant.
Depends. I know.
What does it depend on?
I know trans men that can get pregnant.
That means.
Oh God. Oh God. See, now you see that? This is an old clip from Candace. Somebody sent this to me. I said, oh, man, I got to go ahead and talk about that again, because see, we got stupid floating all around. It went airborne somehow. Folks right now walking around. Hey, man, I suddenly feel stupid. I feel real dumb right about now. But us, somehow, we've inherited immunity to this mess. We got immunity to the stupidity. So this black man, who's the angriest black man, always talking about racism, is debating with Candace, and she asked him a simple question, and watch that stupidity kick right in. Can men get pregnant? Yeah.
Depend on.
I know trans men that can get pregnant.
That means it's a woman. Only one sex can get
That's
pregnant.
a circular argument. That's
It's not a
making the
circular
question.
argument.
Yeah.
It's proving my thing. There is a truth, a concrete truth. You have to be born with a uterus to have a baby. Only women can get pregnant. The fact that we've arrived in a society
Right,
where
that's the
even
part I'm disagreeing
disabled-
with. That's the part I'm disagreeing with.
That's part of disagreement. That's part of disagreement. Now, after this stupidity leaks all out of this man, I never want to see him get on anything talking about some racism and the reason that the black man is this and that. If you can't put together that basic concept, that, I mean, like, what did you come out of? That's my question. How did you get here? Did your dad drop you off somewhere? I mean, were you stored in your old man's bun oven? I don't understand how this stupid virus done got hold to these people. So it's always the folks that's been co-opted by the left, and they've been using to push their Marxism, their division, their race narrative, all the stuff that divides our country. Once they get promoted, then they got to go ahead and go along with the stupid. See, so this guy allowed them to inject him, I guess, with some stupidity. And I guarantee you, he can't go back to where he grew up from and go in the neighborhood talking about, hey, you know what? I really believe that men can get pregnant. And see what happens. Inner city folks aren't stupid. For some reason, it appears that these middle to upper class liberals, white or black, done got infected with stupidity. They did some type of, report where they went to the college campuses. I forget who did it. And was asking them, can men get pregnant? And you should have saw these college students. Well, actually, yeah, it's a possibility. Then they went straight to, I think it was Brooklyn or Harlem, one of these places. They went somewhere in New York and was asking them the same question. All of them was like, what? No. Why is it that they know? And yet these folks up there in college, well, it's a possibility, just like this idiot right here. So now they done elevated this dude because he's a race baiter. And now he has to go along with the stupidity while Candace Owens destroys him.
I disagree with it. These are facts. So you can say that this person who is pregnant identifies as a man. That person was born a woman. I can tell you that every single time because only women can have sex, because there are concrete truths about life.
Have babies.
Can have babies, pardon. And that is a hard truth about life. You cannot make that go away because you want to call a man, somebody who has a beard and dresses like a dude, a woman. Only if it's pregnant, I can tell you exactly what it is. It's a woman.
Our children.
So when did that go out the window? When did that common fact go right out the window? Every single time. I wasn't great in school when I was a kid, but I could answer that one. All right, which one of the sexes have kids? Oh, Kevin, woman. Wow, you're good. Thank you very much. All right, which one gets the woman pregnant? Oh, Kevin, the man. Very good, Kevin. You've been paying attention. See, you don't even have to go to school to know that. And it seems like going to school now makes you not know it. You probably know it up until you get around to college. And if they had their way, it'd be high school. So Trump has to come in and talk about this because, see, I want a president who sees this situation like this. This president, for some reason, has not been infected by stupid.
Children are captives to unhinged Marxist educators who are pushing inappropriate sexual, racial, and political material on our children from the youngest possible age. They're not old enough to think. The current education system is so upside down that school prayer is banned, but drag shows are absolutely allowed.
Something ain't right about that, man. It ain't right. See, that's why I love this president right here. So they're not old enough to think, and that's the whole point. They want to get hold to these kids before they can think, before they formulate the world around them, before they build their reality in reality. That's why they want to get hold to them when they little. That's why they're up here lying, talking about there's an attack on the you-know-what population. And no, it's not an attack on the you-know-what population. It's an attack on these people who want to get their hands on kids to indoctrinate them. That's what it is. And Trump's calling it out. Thank you. We know where he stands on this.
Just do whatever you want. You can't teach the Bible, but you can teach children that men get pregnant and that kindergartners are allowed to pick their own gender.
Man, I mean, just listening to this right now, as I was preparing today, I was watching some clips, and you know, these things pop up on the timeline constantly because this is a big topic. And it just kills me to watch adults somehow try to make this make sense. It goes to show you how perverted things have gotten, how evil things have become. When you see full-blown, otherwise, you know, I guess semi-intelligent adults really trying to justify why this makes sense. I saw Leah Thomas. Now, I guess since his swimming career is over, he wants to become an activist, cash in like the dude who's doing the Bud Light commercials or whatever. But that guy out there on some show talking about why the women won't embrace him and, you know, why he's being judged because of... and I'm sitting there listening to this dude going, this is amazing that somebody's giving him a few minutes of their time on their show without mocking and ridiculing this dude, without ripping him to pieces, without going, dude, are you okay? Do you understand? If one of my family members embraced this and did what he did, I would rip them. If I had a son and he did what this dude did, I would be showing up at the pool. That's my boy. I mean, my girl. That's my baby girl. No, I would be at the crib mad. That's what I would be. And when he come home, Dad, look what I got. I would take that mug and throw it right in the trash. You don't deserve that. But yet we're living in a society right now where leaders are embracing this. Thank God this guy's not.
You can't talk about the Bible. You would not trust these people to babysit your children for 30 minutes, and we should not let them educate millions of American students 6 hours a day, year after year.
Woo! Now, how many politicians are willing to get up there and say that right about now? I guarantee you, there are some conservatives that won't even get up there and keep it real like that. So, no Bible in the schools, none of that. You know, we got all kind of colored flags and stuff. No crosses, though. Yep, got all kind of books you could read about doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing when you're in the kindergarten. However, don't get that Bible up in there. We don't want that. We don't want that. Watch them go and shut down a school if they get one inkling of they were teaching what? The Bible? Let's go. We shut this Mickey Fee down. We shutting this Mickey Fee down. They would show up out of nowhere. But yet, we can have all that other garbage. Public libraries. No to Christians. Yes to drag shows. So we've come full circle. In other words, we're falling apart as a society. And that's a problem. We are like just rocketing towards the cliff right about now. And I'm real interested in seeing if there's going to be some grace, some intervention that takes place to keep us from going off this cliff. I'm praying and hoping, because if not, this is what we're looking at. Yep. And guess what? It's infecting the army too. Matt Gaetz. had to call out some people. Now, you ready for some more stupidity? Now, the folks that is responsible for our military has been infected. Listen to this garbage.
Ms. Wormuth, do you acknowledge that some of the strange manifestations of this DEI embrace have put negative pressures on the Army's recruiting?
Congressman, I'm not sure exactly what specifically you're referring to, but when we've done
so
surveys...
if you could put that slide up on the screen, I'll give you one. I thought that might be where this was going.
I love it. I love it. So you knew she was coming out with that. Congressman, I don't know exactly what you're referring to. See, Democrats don't want to get into specifics. You know, they want to be very vague. You know, they know that the borders blew open. And you say, well, you know what? I mean, are you concerned about folks taking advantage of the, well, I'm not sure what you're talking about specific. Oh, well, let me get more specific. All right, there were 800,000 getaways. There were 300,000 kids that are missing, stuff like that. You gotta lock them down so they have to look at the doo-doo pot that they laid and put their nose in it. So he anticipated her doing this, wanting to go with the vague. And so he said, I figured this was where this was going. I figured you was going to try to go ahead and say, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, so now I got to show it to you and make you dance around this nonsense.
So this is a vignette aid. It's an Army training, and it's regarding the use of showers. The vignette reads, a soldier transitioned from male to female, as indicated in DEERS. The soldier did not have sex reassignment surgery. The transgender service member is using the female showers and has expressed privacy concerns regarding the open bay shower configuration. Similarly, other soldiers have expressed discomfort showering with a female who has male genitalia. And then if you look over at subpart 3 regarding the considerations, it just says, all soldiers will use the billeting, bathroom, and shower facilities associated with their gender marker in DEERS.
So we completely went crazy, guys. We are completely crazy now. It done infected the higher ups. In fact, they're the ones infecting everybody else. So now in our military, they are allowing people with the opposite genitalia to walk right up in there and, all right, here I am, swinging. And what? Don't look at me like that, ladies. I'm one of you. I'm one of you. That's what they're allowing to happen. Now, what could possibly go wrong with that? We only have examples of prisoners who said, well, you know what? Even though I've done nothing to alter my you-know-what, I want to go over there with the ladies. Okay. Send them over there. And what ends up happening? Some people get raped. Some people get pregnant. Things like that. What could possibly go wrong? I mean, we already found out what went wrong in one of those high schools up there in Virginia that they tried to bury when that young man took advantage of somebody in that bathroom. What could possibly go wrong? I mean, imagine if the men were not mature. They were just little 8th, 9th grade mentality type dudes in the military. Every single one of them would say, hey, Sarge, I think I'm on the inside. I want to go ahead and use that one over there at their barracks. Just so they can get their peak on. I mean, and you can't even question them according to this. This is insane right here. And Matt Gaetz is going to have to point that out as this woman tries to justify this along with one of the generals who is caught in the middle, I can tell. Finally, he comes to his senses.
Your reaction to that?
My reaction, Congressman, is we're focused on building cohesive teams that are trained, disciplined, and fit.
Well, General McGonville, I'll give you the next chance. Do you think that it builds cohesive teams to have biological males showering with women?
I think we need to respect the privacy of our soldiers and have a environment where everyone can thrive.
Of course.
Because you can't handle the truth. So you hear the general? He's trying because he's under the executive branch. And he knows. If he goes too hard against this narrative, rank probably be demoted. Who knows? Forced into retirement. God knows what they're capable of doing right now. So he's trying to straddle that fence talking about something. I think everybody should respect everybody's privacy. What that got to do with it? I need you to be on one side of this or the other. This is not the time for vagueness. I need to know who I'm working with. I don't like when politicians and leaders and stuff like that tries to straddle that fence. When the you-know-what was going around, and our governor decided to do some things that I said, that doesn't make any sense. And other things I said, okay, well, that makes somewhat sense. I needed to know where he stood. I need to know okay, if these folks start doing crazy stuff, are you going to resist this? Or do I have to worry about how you feel when you wake up? How many favors you owe? I mean, I don't want to have to worry about it. I want to know exactly how you feel on these things. So this general is trying to double dutch, and Matt Gaetz is going to have to lock him down.
But that's not an answer to my question.
Well,
You and I spent a good amount of productive time yesterday talking about cohesive team building.
We did.
Does this advance cohesive team building in your best military opinion?
Well, I think the fact we're talking about this and not talking about war fighting is problematic.
Well, but that's what the Army does, General. I'm looking here. Army policy on transgender military service, where you guys require training on this stuff. So don't you think that when you require training on how to deal with men and women's shower stalls and when you have these mandatory trainings on transgender service members, that takes away from our focus on war fighting?
Yeah. See, you got to go ahead and push it a little further, because the general is trying to keep us rank, I guess. Yeah, well, I mean, the fact that we're not focused on this, I mean, it kind of answers it. No. See, because we are focused on this. I can tell what the military is focused on based on the stuff that they put out. Like the other day on my other channel, when I had that clip, I forget his name, but he was talking about the top 3 things, top 4, and 3 out of the 4 top pressing issues for our military. The leaders are saying it was climate change. It was, what else? Racial sensitivity training, and something else that was stupid. And I'm thinking to myself, do you think that's China's top 3? Do you think that's Russia's top 3? So if these things are not worth talking about, if they're taken away from all the other stuff, don't downplay them, because they're right there in our face. They're constantly being thrown up from these folks who's been infected with stupid and trying to infect the military with this crap. And so if they're going to make it a priority, then let's talk about it. Because if it wasn't a priority, it wouldn't be in a big old bulletin. It wouldn't be up there at the top of the list of, here's what we're focused on.
I think what, again, from the Chief Staff of the Army, my focus is very clear. I talk to every commander, every sergeant major in the Army. I do it every single month. And what I talk about is our job is build cohesive teams that are highly trained, they're disciplined, they're fit, and they're ready to fight and win.
Really? They're disciplined? These are my 2 moms. Hey, you know what? When my friends clown Mount Everest, I said to the cartoons that we're putting out to recruit people, yeah, that makes us fit and ready. You think we're fit and ready when I hear Biden getting up there talking about, you know what? We're focused on helmets for all the women's different hairstyles and fighter pilot suits to accommodate pregnant women. That's fit and ready? I don't understand. I'm concerned about the fit and ready part, because I'm seeing how these folks are running our military, and it sucks. The whole Afghanistan thing let us know that we weren't fit and ready. Unreal. So I get it, General. That might be your goal and objective. But the folks in this administration have a whole different goal and objective. So now you got to get up there and double dutch.
And that's where I'm at.
But I am positing that when there is a focus on how biological men are going to shower with women, and on unconscious bias training, which you require, and on mandatory gender sensitivity training, that the call is coming from inside the house.
Boy, I tell you, I would hate to have to be sitting across from Matt Gaetz and trying to throw out doo-doo and tell him it's chocolate. Because he's going to throw it right back in your face. He's going to make you eat that doo-doo. So these cats are up there focused on, he's like, look, I get what you're saying. But how does this focus on being ready when you got folks sitting in sensitivity training? You got folks in there talking about all right, guys, now what do you do if a man walks into the bathroom who isn't really a man, but yeah, how do you respond to that? And y'all got to sit in there through that garbage going, this wasn't even a problem a couple years ago. I mean, everybody was pretty clear on this. This weren't the last thing we would have thought when we signed up doing boot camp is we got to sit and talk about what do we do if a man walks in the women's bathroom and vice versa. These were things in our society that we never had to question, whether it be in a restaurant, whether it be in a store, department store, anywhere in the country. It was always clear. I mean, even if you couldn't read, they just put the girl up there and the boy right there, and everybody looked and said, okay, I know what that means, and went where they were supposed to go. But now, this has become a main issue and topic in our country, and it's being pushed heavily by powerful people. For what? Why? Do they all really believe this stuff? Or is there some other hidden message behind it? And I think we're going to find out that there's another message behind it, another motive. So, Matt, go ahead and destroy the lady who's going to try to come back with something stupid.
DOD on some of these problems. And the proof's in the pudding. That there seems to be a cognitive dissonance between your recruiting nightmare that we are living through, the nation's recruiting nightmare at the Army, and this kind of stuff. Because I don't think it's going to be a big, positive recruiting pitch to women.
Me either. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. What a great place. It's a great place to... What? Go and get sensitivity training? And talk about my hidden racism deep down on the inside that I didn't even know was there? I thought I was joining up to be all that you can't be in the bathroom with somebody who's not the same sex as me. I don't know. I don't think I want to join this outfit right here. So, Matt Gaetz, you're bringing home some good points.
That when someone shows up with male genitalia in their shower stall, that we tell them that we're trying to build a cohesive team. I would posit to you that probably makes the team a little less cohesive.
Me too.
Will you allow for even that possibility?
Congressman, what we've seen in our surveys is that basically women are more worried about being sexually harassed in the Army than they are about the kinds of things.
Whoa. Now, did you hear stupid do as stupid does? Try to come in with some garbage, trying to direct the attention away, trying to say this right here takes priority. You're looking at minor things. I mean, people's not worried about those things. That's crazy. Look, I feel more women are worried about, and I'm going, really? So, Matt, how are you going to respond to the stupid?
Don't you think that someone might get sexually harassed if they're showering with a biological male? Don't you think that environment could potentially increase the likelihood of that? We're all concerned about sexual harassment. We've grappled with these challenges about how to have it in the chain of command or outside the chain of command, but it seems a little silly to sit here and have discussions about the flow chart of a sexual harassment complaint when you've got people with male genitalia showering with your female soldiers. I want to recruit.
That's funny. See, that's counterproductive. He just showed that that's an oxymoron because you're a moron, lady. So here she is trying to talk about sexual harassment, but you are creating an environment that will do nothing but add to that. It will make every woman in there insecure, especially if the guy, like Leah Thomas, I was looking at him. He's doing his interview. Deep voice. Yeah, I don't understand why they're giving me such a hard time with this. This is ridiculous. I'm just as much as a lady as they are. Look, it's not my fault. They're smaller and weaker. Bones are a lot less dense. And, I didn't ask to be born with this big Adam's apple right here. You think I wanted this? No. My feet look like paddle boards, but hey, it's not my fault, okay? I got big old web hands like the man from Atlantis. But you know what? It's not my fault. They should stop complaining. So here, this lady is trying to get us to start looking at a whole nother issue when the issue at hand, right up in her face, would do nothing but encourage that possibility. So even if it's not being done directly, the insecurity of having a man walking around, you have no idea how that plays psychologically. That guy might turn and say, hey, can I borrow some of your shampoo? And every girl in there feels that he's eyeballing them up and down. It's the way he asked. Look at him looking at me talking about his shampoo. It puts that guy in danger of being accused. And it puts those women in an awkward position. So either you got to shut up and act like he's just one of the girls, or you're going to be offended. And then he might get offended that you're offended. And then he's tapping somebody on the shoulder. Hey, Sarge, man, they're ostracizing me. You should be. You should be over there with the guys. That's where you should be. Unreal that we're dealing with this crap, man. Stupidity has kicked in.
Talented women into our army. And I'm concerned that this weird stuff that you guys are doing is not going to make it more likely that those people are going to sign up. General McConville, you and I spoke yesterday about the fact that the Army has to recruit extensively men from the American South. That makes up a wide variety of who's coming into the United States Army. You're going to recruit more of them with this kind of stuff?
Probably not.
Thank you. Whew. Man, that was a close one. He was struggling. He had the fever of stupidity all on him. Finally, the fever broke. Good grief. Probably not. No, it's not a probably. It's an absolutely not. When you see garbage like this.
That's the point. And I appreciate the honesty. And I know that in August you conclude a storied career. And we thank you both for your service.
Not the lady.
We did get somewhere with this last time with Secretary Austin. And I hope you all will reflect on the damage that this embrace of DEI is doing to the military.
And it is. Stupid has been damaging a whole bunch of areas in our country. And it is running rampant. And you have to ask, why are alleged smart people unleashing stupidity in our country? I mean, they're smart enough to know that this stuff is bad for our country, but they're doing it anyway. And I think that the great one, Mark Levin, has a couple thoughts. Not only is stupid trying to infect our military, our schools, all of that, but they're also trying to infect all of these religions. Check this out. Look at that.
The Democrat Party has worked very, very hard and successfully in putting that institution in front of the country, that institution in front of faith. So if you're a secular Jew, you're drawn more to the Democrat Party than you are to your own faith. If you're a secular Catholic, you're drawn more to the Democrat Party than you are to your faith.
Wow. Now, Mark, you're dropping some knowledge right there, man. Because, see, that was one of my big issues. I'm like, why is it, as a Christian, I was thinking, why aren't Christians able to see that everything about the Democrat Party is anti-biblical? I mean, how are they able to say, I'm going to set aside all of my biblical beliefs that these people do not support, and at any given second will rip it and call you a radical and all of that stuff? I'm going to set that aside and support this party. How did they get these people to the point where they would support the party over their faith? Well, one term he's using is secular. You know, you got some folks that are more committed and some folks that just kind of wear it like a loose garment. Where it's like, oh yeah, if you ask me, I'm like, oh, well, I mean, I guess I'm a Christian, I guess I am. So it's probably easier for you to say, well, that stuff is just something I hang on to identify with something to make myself feel a little bit better. But when you start really breaking down how the Democrats operate and how they've done this, it is fascinating. It is.
And I go right down the list. The Democrat Party has succeeded in many ways in becoming a Marxist-like party, where your alliance and allegiance to the party is more important than your alliance or allegiance to anything else.
Ooh, whoa, that's deep. That's just how Marxists work. They have figured out all of these little buzzwords, these little concepts, breaking folks down in these little divisions, figuring out what would one turn away from their religious beliefs for a period of time and focus on us as a party. What topic, what issue could we drop out there that would make Christians say, what? Okay, forget the children being it. Forget marriage and all of that. Forget all of that. Forget how they don't really like Israel. Forget all of that stuff. What did you just say, these Republicans? Racism. When it comes to the black church, that's one of them. All they do is throw that crap out there, and all of a sudden, they're blinded. They're like a deer in headlights. And I'm going, so just that one thing that locked y'all all the way up, made you say, well, forget the rest of the scriptures, forget the rest of their policies that is anti-Christian. Racism is unbelievable to me. I know some good Christians that for some reason their discernment meter is broke when it comes down to the Democrats. Kills me, man.
It's also why you see the Democrat Party and its teacher unions and others at war with the nuclear family. The family, faith, the rule of law get in the way of the revolution.
There it is. That's why, Mark. That's why they unleashing stupid in our society. The family, the nuclear family, religion, all of these things get in the way of their revolution. See, people don't want a revolution if they're happy. People don't want a revolution if they are blessed, if things are going well, if they got a wonderful family and they're relying on their family, that's their strength. If they got a strong, rooted base in their faith, all of these things that the Democrats are trying to destroy and break apart. You can't even have a revolution if the people are united. But yet Joe Biden get up there, I reunite the soul of the country, bring us all back together. And did nothing but divide us from day one. And we're about to show exactly how. We're about to get into why Tucker is being forced out. It's not just because of the I can't say this word again, the 6 stuff. That video, that was it. That was one of them. But it's a lot of stuff. Because even though, like I say, Tucker's not perfect, I've disagreed with him on some things. However, he will approach some major topics that others won't. His monologues are magnanimous, and folks remember him. And he does things like what you're about to see. And so when you start saying, you know what, even though I work for a industry that claims to be conservative, but they got their limits on how far they let folks go, I'm gonna push it. And I'm going to become so popular and so embraced by conservatives to where I start to talk about uncomfortable issues that even conservatives are on board with because they're part of that establishment too. Like disagreeing with the whole thing in where, overseas, where we shouldn't even be. Questioning that, y'all. You can't do that. You got Republicans on board with that garbage. See, so when you start having Republicans and Democrats come together and say, that guy's dangerous, that's a problem. When they start saying, you know what, he shouldn't have been able to release those video clips, and I'm seeing Republicans say that, I'm going, why are you saying that? That's a problem. When I'm seeing Republicans and Democrats letting this dude come from that other country, come to our country, get out there and start talking about, I want more money. Y'all gonna go ahead and have to hook me up and all that, and they all walk away like that was beautiful. That was like Churchill. That's a problem. And when you get somebody who gets out there and calls that garbage out, then of course he's going to become a target, not just by the left, but also by the right. And especially when he's calling out garbage like this. Fair real, Tucker.
The word has just come down that Fox News Media and Tucker Carlson have agreed to part ways.
You hear rocks in the voice? Do you hear Wolfman Jack voice right there? Part ways.
Well, thank you for his service to the network and host of prior contributor. Wave. We'll talk more about it tomorrow but we wanted to make sure that we let you know.
Yeah, I bet you will, Whoopi. Up there looking like a big old zebra, an out-of-shape zebra, looking like an inmate with all of those stripes. What the heck are you doing, Whoopi? So here she is talking about, we'll talk about it more, but guess what? Miss Piggy can't wait. She's excited. Now, these are supposed to be conservative voices on The View. How? Now you're about to see the difference between, well, we all know the difference between rhinos, but see, Miss Piggy is obviously a fake Republican. I guess these other two girls on the end, or the other one girl, is supposed to be a little more conservative, but listen to what she says, and you'll see how, like, establishment Republicans think versus this new movement, y'all. I feel like the majority of American conservatives have embraced, they open their eyes. A lot of the stuff we fell for back in the day, we're like, man, I'm starting to question why we overseas. I mean, granted, I know we're the most powerful planet on the country for now, perhaps, but I don't think we need to be meddling all the time. I wonder now, if you guys, every time y'all say we're fighting for democracy and this and that, I wonder now, how many times was that true? Was it? Or do you just assume our patriotism will make us become naive and just support you blindly? Now that a whole bunch of folks' eyes are opening, you now can see also the established Republicans who are okay with being a war hawk, and listen to what they accuse Tucker of and why they think this man got bumped out of Fox.
What was going on?
Well, can I ask the audience if they'll help me do something? Come on, folks. Na, 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 na. Na,
Now you see that big banana? You see that big old banana, that canary up in there with her hands up? Good grief. So instead of her being terminated, instead of all of these horrific, I guess they're commentators maybe, I don't know what they are, hostesses, all of them, instead of them all being wiped off the network, a very, very smart, intelligent, impacting commentator like Tucker. So now we see that Fox News have caved and given all of these bums a win. They think they won. So Tucker's done for now. They don't realize that they could strike him down and he'll become more powerful than he's ever been. Are y'all ready for the most asinine statement coming out of Sunny?
I don't think anyone likes to celebrate the demise of someone's career, but he is responsible for the demise of someone's career. Yeah. But he is responsible for the degradation that we see somewhat of our democracy in this country. And
oh God. Stupid. Did y'all hear that? Y'all hear her unleash all of that stupidity on us. Responsible for the demise and degradation of our democracy. It's a republic, first of all, but nonetheless, you just tried to say that Tucker's responsible for that because of the fact that smart people connect with smart people and they understand them and it compels them to continue to watch smart people that make sense. And because they don't agree with you dumb people, you look at that as you're attacking our democracy. No, we're attacking your dumbness. We're attacking you guys pushing all of this garbage, and Tucker makes sense. Most of the time, I see it exactly how he sees it. But yet you call that an attack on democracy. So what she's really saying is when you call out our stupidity and you want to keep things the way they were, that right there is an attack on our democracy. No, it's an attack on the Democrats, not democracy, the Democrats.
And I just think as a faithful person, look at God.
A faithful
look at God.
No, see,
well, in Russian...
I can't believe she used God in that. Look at God. As a faithful person, not a Christian, but as a faithful person, look at God. Look at God. Why do they do this? The people, like I said, I'm not perfect. I believe I'm a Christian. I believe in the Bible. I believe Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior. But you don't just play around. See, I mean, when all you got to do is listen to her policies that she openly confess and support. And you say, how does that line up with that? But now you're trying to get spiritual and deep and trying to blame God for this. This is amazing that she's not able to see that really the devil's working through not only the industry that you're in, but through you. She don't even see it. And then she gets up there and mocks God, try to add him in and blame him for Tucker. Look at God. Well, let's look at him. When was the last time you seen him, Sonny? Dang on it.
Propaganda hardest hit. I mean, he's been the biggest purveyor of pro-Russian talking points.
There it is.
So it's a good day for the Ukrainian people. Karma doesn't lose anyone's address.
He's been the biggest perpetrator of Russian propaganda. And what are you talking about? Here you are supposed to be a Republican, a conservative, and you're saying we can't question why we're over there doing what we're doing? Huh? Nobody saw the guy who dropped out all of that stuff and proved that we shouldn't be over there doing this and things aren't going like it should go and like y'all been telling us it's going, and y'all want us to just go along with it. Don't question it. You don't want us to question the fact that we got open checks and we don't know where that money's going. You don't want us to question the fact that we drop in all types of military stuff over there and we don't know what they're doing with it. You don't want us to question the fact that we're hearing a whole bunch of Democrats and some rhino Republicans say, this right here is a commitment to the end. And nobody's telling us what an end is. That could mean World War III. It could mean whatever. But we're committed for some reason. They're committed. So what they're doing is saying, you know what? We don't care what the people want. We don't even want to know what y'all want. What these folks' jobs are is to go out there and tell y'all what to believe and silence the rest of y'all and demonize y'all and say, if you don't believe in this, you're peddling Russian talking points. I can't stand when they do this. Using McCarthyism. That woman right there who claims she's a conservative is really a Marxist. And so here's Tucker. This is why they don't want Tucker on TV, because he does things like this.
When young people are told by their leaders that work is a scam and that stealing things from other people is a human right, how do you think your economy is going to look in 10 years? Horrible. How about your civilization? The answer depends in part on just how much idleness and theft you put up with. Yeah. Any society that cannot declare unequivocally and with confidence that stealing is wrong has no future. When you
racist, see, that's what Sonny would call him right there. See, this is why he's so dangerous, because he's willing to come out and address topics just like this. Whereas these idiots will sit back, watch their cities burn, watch these race baiters push these things out there, incite violence, anger, tolerate, make excuses for what we're about to witness here, and justify it somehow. Whereas Tucker calls it out. And he's not afraid of being called a racist just because the majority of these people we're about to see happen to be people of color. And I don't see this being done by a lot of other, even conservative commentators. And he's about to lay into them and expose why they're doing this.
You let the mob loot, you are doomed. This is why we used to shoot looters. Not because we hated them, it wasn't personal, but in order to defend the...
Now, you know what they would do? They would take that right there and say, Tucker Carlson is promoting shooting black people. That's what they would do. That's why they hate Tucker. Because see what he's saying, I'm going, that's true. If you're a common sense person and you're fair, those things are true. If these clips showed nothing but white kids, I would say the same thing. I say it all the time when I see Antifa. So whether you're black, white, or whatever, otherwise, we cannot have lawlessness in our country unless we're trying to destroy the country.
The foundation of all that we have, which is private property secured by law. Without that, we would be living in savagery and chaos. In Chicago, they already are. What? This is what America's second largest city looked like this weekend.
Let's see. Oh. They're not embarrassed about it? Now, I'm sure if you turn on Joy Reid, you turn on CNN or somebody, Tucker covering this and showing these clips is because he hates black people. That's what it is. He's racist. Now, what I see right there is an embarrassment to black people. That's what I see. When I look at that, I take no pleasure in that. I don't say that's a live situation. They're kicking it. Oh, man, they off the hook. No, I don't say that. In fact, I'm upset that they don't feel ashamed of their behavior. I hope at some point some of those kids will mature and look back at that, look at that clip and say, man, I can't even believe we did that. Now, granted, I've been there. I've been there before where some things I've done as a youngster, I look back and I said, yeah, I wish I could undo that one. I wish I could unring that bell. We didn't represent too well, but never to this degree. This right here is, when I look at that scene, they look like wild animals, just animalistic behavior right there. And I'm black, but I can see that, and it's embarrassing to watch. That's why I can call it as it is. I'm like, that's not how any humans should be acting. But watch what these black leaders say about it. I guess he's racist for showing us and covering us.
There's no point to that. Nobody's benefiting. What you're seeing instead is civilization unraveling, unrestrained violence and destruction, effectively unchallenged by government authorities, the mindless breaking of things, the rage of stupid children. If you let that continue, there will be nothing left standing.
Whoa. Now, person like Tucker comes out, points that out, words it perfectly. Now, if you got common sense and you listen to that, and you look at that clip, you go, I don't see what the problem is. So now you got to work hard to be dumb if you're Sonny, if you're Miss Piggy, if you're Whoopi, if you're a Democrat, and you're saying, you know what, Tucker's saying this stuff because he hates these black kids. That's what he's doing. No, he's not. In fact, I will go so far as to say he probably pities them and wants them to do better, just like I do. But the fact that he's white, he's smart, and he's laying it out beautifully, and calling these other leaders out for it, they're gunning for him. They gunned for him. So let's finish hearing where he's going with this, because The kids could only do what the adults allowed them to do.
Most people don't need to be told that. It's so obvious. It's intuitive. Would you let your kids set fire to the living room? But the new mayor of Chicago, who is an ideologue and a racist, understands that these stupid children are his militia.
Bam! Ooh! Now see, those are words that cut like a knife. See, these are the monologues that made him great. So he understands that these kids is his militia. Just like the Democrats know Antifa and Black Lives Matter is their militia. No wonder they don't go after them. No wonder the other day in my show where I showed y'all John Sullivan at the house on house arrest writing books. And that Bigfoot is up there talking about he's a victim now. No wonder they don't hunt down all of these other folks that are on video constantly being caught doing stuff, but yet they will go way overboard to find one Trump supporter. So it's their militia. He can't mess that up. He might need them for a rainy day.
When they destroy what others built, he becomes more powerful. Their destruction has a political use, and so he refuses to criticize them.
And I know those words hurt. I know he's sitting there going, he calling me out. It's true. They had to silence this man. These monologues are so heavy and so powerful. You know, you see these other commentators on the fake news try to accuse him of all of this stuff and this, but they won't debate him. They never really attack what he's saying and say, that's not true. They just revert to calling him a racist, a white nationalist. And he grew so big to where he probably became a threat even to the Murdochs. To the point where they're like, oh, you know what? He's bigger than the network at this point. We can't have that. Because if we are okay with what's going on overseas, and he's not, it's messing us up. Too many people watching. The money's not worth it to us.
They're stealing because they're hungry, he told us. Watch his explanation.
Is that the answer? To loot because it's a form of reparations? To loot because that's how they can eat?
The real answer is, how do we make sure, the question is, how do we make sure that people can eat? Look, no one is going to condone, behavior that quite frankly speaks to a level of desperation.
So you're not.
Y'all hear that excuse? Now, granted, this was in 2020, but I'm sure he still feels the same. So now, this guy right here is talking about they need to eat. That's why. Now, guys, this is such a attack on your common sense. He is doing his best to belittle the intelligence of almost every American. So he's telling me large groups of black kids go into a frenzy, start looting, tearing up stuff, attacking random people that aren't black. Okay, all of that because they're hungry. They're hungry. Many times I've been hungry. If you're suffering from the missed meal cramps, you don't go into a rage and start looting and tearing up stuff. And we're in America. Now, granted, I'm not saying poverty don't exist. I'm not saying there aren't some people who are hungry, but even our homeless people live well. They somehow are fat. I see them all the time. When we didn't have money or food, we went over grandma and them's house, cousins' them house. Somebody made sure we had a bite to eat once or twice a day, something like that. You cannot tell me the behavior of these kids are a result of them being hungry and desperate for a biscuit. I know the difference. I know how to look at an audience and a crowd like that and say, what's motivating that crowd? Is it starvation or is it you guys allowing them to do things that they say, well, if we can get away with it, why not? Let's loot, steal, and rob. And these guys will come out and make excuses for it.
You're not condoning looting.
I'm saying that people are acting out of desperation.
Desperation.
We don't want a society that is acting out of desperation. But you have to pay attention to the cries that people have.
Desperation, y'all. This dude right here, somehow, he got in office up there in Chicago. How in the world? I don't know. I hope it was fair. I hope they didn't do no shenanigans. But good grief. That's the dude. Did anybody watch any of that stuff? Did anybody watch these clips? For you to respond like this and make excuses and still will not commit to saying that, yes, looting is wrong. Why would I do that? And then they might not loot for me if I need them. If I need to push a race narrative and unleash them in some area, they might remember if I say, well, hey, I condemn their looting. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and tiptoe around that the whole time. So now all of a sudden we need to listen to him. Well, did you even try talking to him? Did you stop one of them and say, hey, why do you have that flat screen TV? Are you going to eat that? Are you going to eat that cash register? I'm just wondering. Ooh.
So you're not condoning looting?
There's no way to embrace that. What I'm saying is...
Look. Won't condone it. There's no way to embrace that. Can embrace what, bruh?
You can't condone the looting that corporations continue to do every single day when they take tax dollars from black, brown, white folks all over the city of Chicago so that they can turn a profit.
Now, you want to know the definition of a sellout? You just saw one right there. That's a sellout. Out of all the black folks who call conservative black folks sellouts, that's a sellout. That guy right there is enabling young black inner city kids to embrace their animalistic side. Their criminal side. He's making excuses for them. And if you spare the rod, you'll spoil the child. You don't love a kid if you don't chastise them. You set them up for failure long term. So if you don't do it, the streets will. And this fool right here just got up there and misplaced the blame on corporate America for robbing. I don't even understand how the people in Chicago tolerate these type of dummies. And probably someone's like, yeah, that brother keeping it real. No, he's keeping it real horrible. That's what he's doing. But Tucker is, and that's why they hated him.
Yes. They're trying to eat. Because starvation is a pressing problem in Chicago.
Is it?
But it's not.
It's not?
Obesity is a pressing problem in Chicago.
What? Good point, Tucker. Yeah, because most of those kids right there don't look like they're missing a meal. They look like they might need to miss a couple.
About a quarter of Chicago high school students are overweight. They join the overwhelming majority of their parents. The shortage isn't of food. And as if to prove the point, the same mob the mayor just defended reportedly tried to break into the Art Institute of Chicago. There was no bread in that museum, only Chagall's and de Kooning's. So these are not people who are trying to feed themselves. These are people who are trying to destroy civilization.
Bam! That's why they need Tucker gone. I don't know of any other commentator that would have laid it out like that and exposed it. And just really say, now let me go ahead and destroy this dude's narrative about food. Why are they trying to break into the museum? You think food was in there? Did you think that was why they were going in there? So you want us to play stupid like you. You want us to go, that makes sense. They probably were hungry and they're probably suffering from the fallouts of slavery and Jim Crow. And I'm sure all these things contributed to their anger and their violence. You want us to embrace that garbage, disrespecting our intelligence, our civility, all of that, while encouraging these kids to act like complete animals. And Tucker just destroyed the argument. See, he went one step further than the normal commentator would have.
Destroy a museum, a symbol of our evolution. We shouldn't lie about this. It's very obvious. And if you let it continue, you're done.
Because if the Democrats wanted to reduce crime in major cities, they would do it. We know how to do it. You hire more cops, you prosecute the criminals that you catch, and then you put them in jail.
Good point. See, so I had to have Mark Levin come in and kind of elaborate on what Tucker's talking about. See, because they're allowing this to go on, and you got to ask yourself, why? I mean, you can't tell me you can't stop it. So I have to conclude that you're doing it on purpose. You're allowing these things to happen on purpose. When I hear Mayor Garland get up to say, we are committed to trying to stop legal immigration, and we are, no, you're not. No, you're not. We can do it. I can do it. Give me the job and the resources. I'll have it taken care of in a couple weeks. If not a couple days, with all of our resources. So then, if we can do it, but we're not doing it, then why? Oh, because we don't want to. And if we don't want to, then the next question is, why don't we want to? So if you're telling me that these kids are running around destroying stuff, tearing up stuff, and it's greater than them because they're hungry, and you're allowing it, the question is, why are you allowing it? Why are all these Democrat cities ran and operating just like what we saw?
When you lift all of those requirements, you attack the police, you have less police, and when you secrete left-wing ideological
like that dude,
as prosecutors who won't prosecute, as well as judges who won't judge properly, won't keep people in jail. This is what you get. So the Democrats want what's taking place. Oh, Mark, that sounds so awful. If they didn't want what's taking place, they would reverse course. But they're not reversing course.
Good point, Mark. So you're telling me that they're not doing the things that it takes to stop these things. So when you make an accusation like that, Mark, it's accurate. See, it would be one thing if we say, you know what, we don't have any of the resources to stop these things. It's greater than that. So our technology won't allow us, our infrastructure won't allow. I mean, maybe in a couple years if we keep. But when you're saying, yo, we got all of this stuff right here to stop all of this mess, and we're not, then my next thought is, why not? When you're telling me you want our guns because you're trying to keep the kids in the schools safe, when all we got to do is stick some guards right out front of these schools, and I'm saying, wait, we could stop it, but you don't want to? You don't want to do that? That won't work for you? Why not? Why won't it work for you? Oh, because you want our guns. That's why. See, when you say, well, we can't stop the cartel is why can't we stop them? We got the greatest military, right? Huh? Oh, because you're okay with that. You want them over here. That's what you want. See, what do you mean we can't stop these kids from looting and robbing and stealing and all of that stuff? Oh, because you don't want to? Okay. See, it's not because you can't. And that's what burns me up. So then, Mark, if they're doing it on purpose, what's their end game?
Now, Mark, why would they want this? Let's see. They want to destroy America. They want to collapse our society. They want to replace it with something else. That's what they're doing. They'll do it whether it's law enforcement, whether it's economics, whether it's race, whether it's the nuclear family. It doesn't matter. Look at the war on capitalism. So all those things that serve as the foundation to our principles, to our founding and so forth are under attack. And of course they're going to attack law and order because a nation without law and order is not a nation. It's anarchy.
But Chicago's like,
wow. So that brings up a good point, Mark. How can you rebuild an empire in your own image if the people like the image that it is at that point? You have to destroy that image. You have to create pain. See, when you find someone's pain, you can sell them anything. When I worked in sales, that's what they say all the time. Find that person's motivation. Find their pain. In other words, discover what it is that they say, man, this bothers me. If I only had this thing right here, find their pain and they'll buy whatever. You ever seen somebody desperate that needs a car? They're the worst. They come right into that car lot, big eyes, desperate, sweating. Hey, listen, I'm in a pickle, man. I need a car like today. My car broke down and I got to be to work it tomorrow. Right then, that salesman goes, pain. I'm going to sell you whatever. And they take it. So if you can create the pain in society that makes people who don't want to change finally just break and say, man, look, just stop the pain. What do you want me to buy? That's what you do. And that's why they're allowing this to happen.
Leaders are lying about it for political reasons. This makes them more powerful. Destroying things that other people built, that previous generations created, it makes this new generation of vandals who add nothing more powerful. That's the whole point.
Like the Democrats who add nothing. Add nothing. They are the do-nothing doodle Dems. Add nothing. They don't build nothing. They tear stuff down. They don't fulfill no promises. These folks take. They get rich somehow in office. And I'm saying, how'd you get rich? What are you doing? How are you saving money? How are you so lucky in the stock market? You're amazing. Show me the way, oh Nancy. Oh, wise one. How is it that Paul Pelosi is so good at the stock market? I want to know the answer to that. But yet, somebody like Donald Trump, who builds a business and employs people, oh yeah, well, we got to look into all his finances. But we don't need to look into Joe's. All of that money being distributed amongst his family members. And it's taken 18 years for them to look into this.
A state senator from Illinois called Robert Peters called the riots, quote, a mass protest against poverty and segregation.
Poverty and segregation.
Chicago's outgoing mayor, the destroyer, Lori Lightfoot, agreed.
The vast majority of young people came down.
Y'all see Beetlejuice hitting us with a buzzer beater? Beetle buzzer beater? So here she is, her comment on what we just witnessed, all of that stuff we just saw a second ago. Here's Beetlejuice's take on it, okay, as she leaves Yeah, she probably should be quiet. You are the one who laid down the tracks for all of this garbage. Dang on it.
Came downtown because it was great weather and an opportunity to enjoy the city.
That's all they did. They came down there for that.
Entirely appropriate. There are a few that came with different intentions, and they have and they will be dealt with. But I'm not going to use your language, which I think is wrong, to say there's Maine.
Well, there you go. I mean, heck, all of us when we were young went downtown or went somewhere because it was hot outside and decided, you know what? We're going to go into a frenzy and start looting, attacking folks, tearing up property and all of that stuff. Yep, that's right. It became contagious. The heat did it. Unreal. So I guess all of those hundreds and hundreds of young kids participating in that, they were what, the small minority that she's talking about that had bad intentions. I saw very few bystanders. Huh.
So you can bet that none of these destroyers will be hunted down like animals, like the protesters on January 6th.
Why
have
not,
been
Tucker?
For over 3 years. Their lives won't be destroyed. Their families won't be hounded. They won't.
And then you wonder why we flip out. We see what they're doing to our society. We see what they're doing to our country. We see the mistreatment, the abuse of power. We see them playing favoritism. We see them doing these things, and it is so obvious and blatant. And the only reason they're getting away with this garbage is because of the media. That is it. I mean, they have a great network. They have put in some work and some years to get folks conditioned to believe this garbage, man. So for you to recognize that scene for what it is, they will come right behind you and say, you don't understand black folks. No, I do understand black folks. And I know they will take advantage. Anybody would. If you encourage them and enable them, when you start telling them it's greater than you, you don't need to have self-control. You don't need to have self-respect. You don't need to have honor. You don't need to have discipline or commitment. You're a victim. Therefore, you got the right to take, and not give. Okay? Be the animal that you want to be. That right there, I've seen people do that. Parents can make their kids be just like that as well. See, so therefore, smack them around when they're young, and you won't have them out there doing this. But the Democrats run all these cities and these areas. They don't mind if you start having kids when you're 12 and just start duplicating the same behavior and mentality. Long as you stay on that Democrat plantation.
Be banned from Airbnb. And yet, of course, what they did is far more destructive to our society than anything you saw in
nobody's
Washington
tracking them down. Where's
in
Mayor
January
Garland?
of 2021. Their behavior is encouraged. So what happens if you encourage this kind of behavior? If you cheer the mob rather than restraining the mob? Well, ugly and totally inevitable things will happen.
Like what?
Productive people will flee, innocents will die, and ultimately you will get from this mob racial attacks.
What? So is that their goal and agenda? Are they fulfilling what Yuri said a long time ago? Are they encouraging racism? No wonder we be hearing racism all the time. No wonder they done brought it back in vogue. No wonder after all of these years of weeding that out to where when you heard it back in the day, your ears went straight. Racism? What? Oh, well, we really need to look into this. Now, nothing. Racism? Oh, yeah, some more racism, huh? What is it this time? I mean, what'd somebody do? No wonder they're throwing it out there constantly. Now, why would they do that? When we had made so much ground in regards to racism. Why would they do that, Tucker?
All of that is happening in Chicago right now. All of it. Watch this woman surrounded and beaten this weekend because of her skin color.
Look at this. Look at that. And you know what burns me up? These are black kids, man. Young, stupid black kids. Now, most young kids nowadays who participate in this stupidity, same with Antifa, film their crimes. That's how dumb they are. Out there just filming their crimes. When I was a principal in Youngstown, we had one of our students get into a fight. And his brother got into a fight. He had a gun on him, but his brother got into a fight. His father is out in the streets with the camera talking about, all right, this is going to be fair. All right, everybody back up. So now you got about 30-some people out there. And the dad is okay with this fight taking place. His brother's okay. This guy got his buddies, and then my student had his, his crew. Well, the guy was losing, and so he goes to get a gun, and my student gives his brother the gun, and his brother just starts firing all over the place. He hits the guy, but he hits about 3 other people too. About 3 other people. And all of this is on camera. All of it's on camera. And of course, both my student and the brother, which they should have, went straight to the slammer. And guess what? The father should have went to the slammer too. Everybody there recording it. So now you got all these dummies right here recording all of this garbage. And I'm saying, so let's reverse that. Bunch of white kids, one black girl up against the door, minding her business, trying to get out of that way of these crazy people. And then they just start beating her, talking about, yay, we got active. We got active. How do you think that would, kind of go over? Huh? You think they would be like, oh, it's just kids being kids. They were hungry. So it made them beat up this black girl. This is embarrassing to watch. And a black lady saved her life.
So that footage was shared widely on social media. We didn't have to hunt it down. It came with the caption, you may have seen it, yay, we get active.
And I'm sure Tucker's covering this because he's a white nationalist racist and he wants to make black people look bad. No, the Democrat Party is doing their best to make black people look bad. They're responsible for that crap. The same people who said, well, they're doing it because they're hungry. That's who's responsible for it, not Tucker.
So this was racist mob violence, and we should not be surprised by that. This is what mobs do. Yeah. The hive mind takes over, the lowest instincts take over, and people who are different get hurt, often killed.
Yeah. See, so that's why we don't want these black kids getting highly educated. That's why we don't allow them to go to school choice, because see, a dumb mind is easily to be controlled. The smarter you become, you're able to see our garbage. You're able to use some deductive reasoning. You're able to put some context clues together. You're able to go, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. So let's keep them angry, make them feel disenfranchised and victimized, and keep them mad and only unleash them when it's time. And if they happen to just get crazy outside of us unleashing them, just kind of look away. That's just them. They hungry. Let them go ahead and eat. Long as they don't come to my neighborhood, see, long as they don't come up there, let them tear up all that stuff. We'll blame it on racism or disenfranchisement or something.
This is widely known and has been for a long time. Just last year, in fact, Joe Biden signed the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act that made what you just saw specifically a felony.
So Joe thought the anti-lynching bill would only work against white nationalists who, for some reason, feel in 2023, I think I should lynch somebody. See, he never thought that it might be reversed, because I'm pretty sure right about now, how things are, there's a higher probability that a large group of angry young black folks would feel emboldened to attack white folks, because these Democrats and these corporations and these globalists has declared white conservatives the enemy. And if you can't tell whether they're conservative or not, it doesn't matter. Unfortunately, some people are going to become collateral damage. They didn't stop to ask that white lady right there, are you a Biden voter or a Trump voter? They just saw white. See, so now all of a sudden, the very law, which was unnecessary, but the very law that he signed into order, you telling me what we just witnessed fit that? That looked like a hate crime to me, y'all. Now, what if they would have killed that lady? If the black lady who stepped in and tried to help her, if she would have done that, God knows what would have happened to that lady who was minding her business. And I pray to God she doesn't walk away from this and looking at all black people like they're all animals. They almost killed me for no reason just because I'm white. You want to make a person into a white nationalist, there you go. Just have a large group of black folks just say, just because you're white, we're going to attack you. And if you reverse that, that anti-lynching bill would be stuck to every screen. Look at this. Mayor Garland would be assigning everybody in the FBI to do facial recognition on every single one of those people in the crowd to go get them. But for this, nothing? Now all of a sudden you don't want to talk about the anti-lynching bill? Just like you didn't want to talk about how all of those folks was up there harassing those Supreme Court justice and breaking the law and weren't arrested. So laws mean nothing to the Democrats when it comes down to them and their angry mobs that they unleash on society.
And he signed that to much fanfare. And yet, and this is the key, no one at his Department of Justice is investigating that video or anything that happened in Chicago over the weekend because they support it. Democrats approve of racial violence.
Ooh, now see, Tucker, it's talk like that that will get you snatched off even if you are at the top of your game. That's why I'm probably being suppressed on YouTube. Because see, I'm talking like that too. I'm calling out this garbage too. Burns me up, man. Yeah, I'm glad somebody will. Unreal.
They are stoking it everywhere. No, it's not your imagination. They want race hate and violence. Now, if you think that we're not giving our leaders enough credit, if you're wondering, could they really be that cynical and destructive? Unfortunately, they not only could be, but they are.
Yeah, like I told y'all before. See, that's how they get away with a lot of this. Because a lot of citizens cannot fathom that our leaders would do these things on purpose. I mean, those folks that lined up the you know what and all of that stuff, you think those folks was thinking that, what if our own government was involved in this? No way. They would never do that. Those folks that encouraged them taking away our you know what's, they would never do that. Why would the government take all of those things so that they could ever turn on you and enslave you? No, see, that's what they're relying on. They're relying on you giving them the benefit of the doubt. Like, no way would they do that. Why would the media make that up? Why would they be colluded? Man, come on, Kev. You're a conspiracy theorist. And that's exactly what they have prepped for. They prepped you just for these occasions. So when these things pop up and your common sense start to kick in, then you'll start going, wait a minute, that seems crazy. No way would they plant all of these people in that crowd on you know what day and have them encourage that mess. No way. No way would they do that. I bet you didn't think there was no way they could try to set Trump up as a Russian agent either, did you? Unreal.
And the effects, of course, are destructive, always and everywhere. Over the weekend in Compton, California, needless to say, a Democratic Party stronghold, it's not hard to imagine a future in which there are no more gas stations. Because in California, mobs apparently can just walk into a store, including a gas station, and destroy the place. Smack.
Now look at that. You think you'll see this on MSNBC? CNN? No wonder they needed Tucker off the air. Okay? Point out stuff like this. Now, what you don't know is I'm looking at these faces. This group are Latino. The other group was mostly black. This group was mostly Latino. And guess what? It's Compton. Now, I remember back in Boys in the Hood days, Compton with all of them, with Ice Cube and the Jerry Curl and stuff, was all black until they were all displaced by a whole bunch of illegal immigrants. And so now Compton is like 98% Latino. So no wonder this whole group right here are Latino. And they are robbing this store. And they doing it like they don't even care about the law. Let's see what they do after they get finished looting and robbing this thing. You think they're going to run? You think they're going to take off? Because that's what you would have did back in the day.
Smash the windows and take what they want. We know that because it happened on Sunday in...
Don't even have a mask on.
Now, this mob was not starving. No. They didn't steal food. They stole beer, condoms, and cigarettes.
So now, the group of politicians who claim they love black people and they love Latino people, they have conditions that encourage this garbage. They have created the perfect storm to allow these things to take place in their cities. They're not helping blacks and Latinos by demonizing the police, by letting folks off that commit crimes and things of that nature. No, by not punishing folks, by letting folks out. They're not helping us. They're hurting us. So now you got the two big groups that they claim they love, and look what our youth is doing in their cities. So now, instead of running, I thought, Tucker, they were going to break in and steal a hoagie, maybe a salami sandwich or something, but they're stealing condoms, they're stealing all kind of stuff, probably lottery tickets. Are they going to eat those? Look at that. Having a good time. Whole bunch. As long as it's under $900, they're good. Wow. Democrat cities. Yeah, man, look at that. Holding it all up. Get the cigs, condoms, Trojans, y'all. Look at that. Cigarettes,
it looks third world, you hear people say. But that's not accurate. Very few third world countries would put up with that for a minute.
You're right. Because even in third world countries, they will have their Gestapo come in and brrr, we will have law and order. If anybody's going to do any stealing or looting, it's going to be us, the tyrants. Okay? We can't have y'all doing the same thing we're doing. So we just witnessed that in Compton, in an American city. We just witnessed that in Chicago. We witnessed that over the Summer of Love when they took over like 2 or 3 blocks in Seattle. Yeah, all of that in America. Ran by Democrats, though. That's Democrats' America. So now, Tucker, all of that we witnessed.
El Salvador is far safer than Los Angeles. What? In Los Angeles, criminals control the stores and the streets because there aren't enough police to respond.
That'll do it. That will do it. Demonize the police, get rid of the police, allow chaos to incur in their cities. Allow the whole dang on city area, whatever, to implode. Allow that. As long as they don't go up to their neighborhoods, though. As long as they don't do that. And see, notice they're not doing this in conservative cities or states. They know where they can get away with this crap. See, they know that in certain areas, when the cops show up, they're showing up for business. We knew that growing up. We knew if you go out to the suburbs and be speeding, acting a fool, get a little too loud and rowdy, you will go to jail. Youngstown, man, I ain't trying to pull these cats over, man. Let them kids do whatever they're doing, man. See, we knew we can get away with a lot more in the city. But outside that city, we knew. Don't let, when we see Boardman police pull up, Austin Town, Liberty, we was straighten up. So these folks know what cities they're in, and they notice things. They learn through observation. Hey, there's no cops coming around anymore. Hey, they done changed the law and said, you know what? Long as we loot under $900, nothing will happen to us. And that's what you get.
And of course, they know that perfectly well. And that's why the people who looted that store then did burnouts in the street while the store was being looted. Watch this.
Look at this. Look at that, guys. That's what you do. Right after you loot a store, having a great time. Fast and Furious. Look at it. Ain't even trying to run. Going in circles. See, I would think there would be, car chase cops behind them. But no, they're just going in circles. In LA. But yet, Gavin Newsom, I guess, wants to run for president at some point and turn the whole country into that? Are you kidding me? After seeing what I see in Chicago, New York, Baltimore, St. Louis, LA, and several other liberal cities and states, there is no way in the world we should have a Republican lose any election. There's no way in the world we can have another creepy, sleepy, sloppy, sleazy, slimy Joe running our country because he's going to run it straight into the ground. They pulled a fast one on us the last time, y'all. But if they get away with another fast one, our whole country will look just like this until they break us, until they get rid of us, and then they'll rebuild this country into something that we won't recognize.
That's a public street. That's not a parking lot in a rural area.
Yeah.
That's Los Angeles. You can't live in a country like that. No normal person can live in a chaotic, dangerous country like that. And so the normal, productive people will leave. And not just Los Angeles, not just Chicago, all over the country in the cities controlled by the Democratic Party.
Yep. And they will leave and keep migrating away. But if we are dumb enough to let these Democrats keep chopping away into our conservative states, then you know what's going to happen then. And if they leave and come to these conservative states, don't bring that crap with you. Don't do a Chicago talking about the crime's out of control. And what do? Elect another dude who's allowing this crap to happen. Don't do like what New York did, whining about the crime. Had a guy that would have stepped in and dealt with it, but no, you put that chick back in. Don't do that. Don't be going to these conservative cities and states running from that chaos and bringing that crap there. Don't do that. And Republicans better get it together. If you got a Republican state and you are a governor, you better make sure that you secure the elections, that you go and find out who these raggedy prosecutors are and deal with them, or else they'll nestle in and they'll spread that crap. And before you know it, you're out of power and we looking just like LA.
In New York, a man with 11 prior arrests just bludgeoned a female police officer with a bottle in the middle of the day. You're seeing
just
the
like
attack
that.
on the
That's New
screen
York
right now.
now.
And the sad news is a lot of these attacks, and you see them online if you pay attention, are racial. And that's the last thing you want. You definitely don't want people hurting each other because they're of different races, not in a country like this, not in any country, but especially not here. This is...
Do you understand? I mean, this looks like, I mean, straight Mad Max. I mean, this is straight The Purge. It's a scary time that we're living in right now. Right now, it's confined primarily to their cities. Now, if people are smart, they will observe what's going on in their cities and make the connection. I hope stupidity doesn't spread and infect the rest of the country. You should be able to put the connections. What do all these cities have in common? Tucker's highlighting them for a reason. For a reason. So am I. All ran by Democrats. So if you don't want your city to look like this, don't be voting in these idiots.
It's not what we were promised.
Do they even care?
What we're getting. As if to underscore that point, the rioting this weekend in Chicago began in a place called Millennium Park. If that sounds familiar, you're not from the city. That's because Millennium Park, Grant Park is part of it, is the same place where Barack Obama gave his famous 2008 victory speech in which he promised a better future.
That guy, the snake, that guy, the wolf in sheep's clothing, came in trying to be charismatic and smooth and everybody drank that Kool-Aid. Let's see what he had to say.
It's been a long time coming. But tonight, because of what we did on this day, in this election, at this defining moment, change has come to America.
Change has come to America. Barack Obama was more prophetic than we knew. That was just 15 years ago. Right. But today we're seeing the change that Barack Obama brought to America. This is what it looks like.
Wow. See, that's what makes Tucker great. Monologues like that, pointing out all of this garbage, and yet as beautifully laid out as that was, how much that makes sense, they hate him for it. Now, I love that. I love that because that got right to the nitty gritty. It didn't misplace the blame. It didn't make excuses for lawlessness. It didn't encourage division in our country. Had nothing to do with race. In fact, he pointed out the real culprits behind pushing racism. All they see is race. And the only way they can discredit smart people like Tucker and conservative black folks that are smart and got the nerve to speak out, they got to figure out ways to do it. So what better way to do it than if you're white and you're pointing out all of this stuff? I don't care what it is you're pointing out. It ain't even got to do nothing with black folks. Somehow you're going to find yourself as a racist. That's what you're going to do. If you're black, you're going to find yourself as someone who's supporting systemic racism, someone who is supporting racists or just a straight up Uncle Tom and all of those things. And then if you got the nerve to be too impactful, too influential, then you'll see things start to happen to your channel, like what happened to mine. Mysteriously, going back and backdating old videos and saying, well, this right here is misinformation about the you-know-what, even though it really wasn't. I mean, they won't even tell me what I said that was wrong. Won't even point me to the part in the video. Just come up with something. Now I got to delete all of my past videos. So if you're just joining the channel, make sure if you want to see some of my videos in Kevin's Corner, my archives, I ain't going to delete every single one, but I got to do a purge to my channel. And this channel will also come under a new name real soon. So what I need y'all to do, because there's all kind of ways they could figure out that I'm the same guy over at the other one, So I got to figure out how to disguise things. And it's a shame that I got to do this. See, that's the whole point why I'm so upset I shouldn't have to do this. But nonetheless, y'all can help me out. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Rumble. Just in case crap happens, you'll know how to reach me. Okay? Thank y'all for hanging in there with me. Thank y'all for supporting the channel. I got 2 weeks in the dugout before I'm able to get back on that other channel. By then, I will have something new up and running. So if you're not on Facebook and you don't follow me, you might not even know it's open. It's up. So you got to follow me on something, y'all. And I'll put that link on those. I can't put it anywhere else. All right. So thanks for hanging out with me, man. I know I pointed out some stuff tonight to get him a big old fat black eye. Hopefully they won't be coming after this channel. So we'll see y'all next time in Kevin's Corner, y'all. Hope y'all have a great weekend. Yeah, man. And a great night. Let's bounce. Let's get out of here. This is awesome. Yeah, awesome. Got it. Round ball throws. Yeah. Take care.